When the first shockwave hit, I thought it was over. But eventually you realize this is just how it is now.
It's 10:22 in the morning, June 4th, 1942. A commander looks up from the bridge of the carrier Akagi and sees death falling from the sky. American dive bombers rip out of the clouds, one after another, noses down, screaming toward the fleet. There's nothing up there to stop them. The lookout doesn't shout a report. He screams, pure terror. Below the flight deck, the ship is a bomb waiting for a spark. Aircraft sit wingtip to wingtip, tanks full, hoses still hanging loose. Torpedoes lie where they were dragged in a rush. Bombs are stacked in lines along the hangar floor. Crews have been gambling all morning, switching weapons, changing plans, racing time. And now, time has run out. From high above, one bomber breaks a little lower than the rest. A single bomb separates from its belly. It begins to fall. Time slows. This is not how it was supposed to end. My name is Detective James. I'm 56 years old, and I've spent my life studying men at the exact moment their certainty collapses. Criminals, victims, heroes, liars. And my opponent, the man in this story, stood right there on that bridge, watching the sky betray him. 6 months earlier, he had helped plan an attack that shocked the world. He believed his force was untouchable. 4 carriers, elite pilots, victory after victory, invincible. But on this morning, he couldn't fly. Surgery had chained him to the bridge like a spectator in a theater about to burn. He could only watch. And what he was about to witness was the death of an empire's confidence. The fleet had come for one purpose: crush Midway, lure the American carriers out, destroy them, end the threat in a single stroke. It was supposed to be the trap. But traps are funny things. Sometimes they close the other way, because far from the battle, in a hot basement filled with cigarette smoke and humming radios, American codebreakers had been reading secrets the Empire believed were unbreakable. They knew the target. They knew the timetable. They knew the size of the fist coming for them. And they were already waiting. Out on the ocean, while the Japanese rearmed and re-rearmed, while decisions stacked on top of decisions, American aircraft were lifting off carrier decks. They were already in the air. They were already coming. And on that bridge, my opponent had no idea. He just watched the falling bomb. You know what I've learned after 3 decades as a detective? Disaster rarely begins with the explosion. It begins with confidence. Let me take you back a few hours. 7:15 a.m. A report crackles in from the first strike on Midway. The island is still fighting. Runways damaged, but not dead. Anti-aircraft guns alive. Resistance everywhere. That's a problem, because the reserve aircraft aboard the carriers aren't set for land attack anymore. They're armed for ships. For the American carriers everyone expects to appear. To hit Midway again, they need bombs. So below decks, men go to work. Sweat running into their eyes. Steel clanging. Heavy torpedoes dragged away. Bombs hauled forward. Fuel lines disconnected. Reconnected. Elevators waiting. It is exhausting. Dangerous. Technical labor done at speed. And then comes another message. Possible ships sighted. Maybe carriers, maybe not, but maybe is enough. If enemy carriers are out there, torpedoes are life. Bombs are useless. The order reverses. Again, put the torpedoes back. Now the hangars become chaos. There isn't time to send weapons back to the magazines, so they pile up where they stand. Live ordnance everywhere. Aircraft half ready, others half stripped. 1,000 small risks, stacked together. From the bridge, it still looks manageable, professional, controlled. But if you've ever walked into a crime scene, you know the feeling. Everything looks normal. Until it isn't. At 9:20, the Americans arrive. Torpedo planes, old, slow, practically defenseless. They come in low. Japanese fighters drop on them like hawks. From the bridge, it feels like proof of superiority. Enemy planes exploding, torpedoes missing, pilots dying in the water. Easy, routine, victory. But my opponent notices something. The fighters are now at sea level. The sky above, empty. And empty sky is an invitation. By 10:20, it's quiet again. Too quiet. Down in the hangars, the reshuffling continues. It will take time, real time, before aircraft can launch. But confidence has returned to the bridge. The Americans tried. The Americans failed. The counterpunch will come soon. Then someone points upward. 10:22 a.m. The bomb is falling. My opponent follows it with his eyes. Later, he would write about that moment, replay it, reshape it, try to give it meaning. But in truth, trauma doesn't arrive with understanding. It arrives with noise. The bomb punches through the deck and disappears inside the ship. For a fraction of a heartbeat, nothing. Then light. A violent, shattering eruption from the hangar. The blast throws men off their feet. Smoke and flame roar upward through the elevator shafts. Fuel ignites. Munitions cook off one after another in savage bursts. The ship convulses. Another explosion. Another. When I interview survivors of catastrophe, they all say the same thing. After the first blast, time loses order. Minutes feel like seconds. Seconds feel endless. On the bridge, officers try to process what they're seeing. They can't. To starboard, another carrier is burning. To port, another. Within minutes, 3 of the most powerful warships on Earth are dying. Not from overwhelming numbers, from timing, from vulnerability, from being caught mid-change. My opponent tries to move. Pain tears through his body. The surgery wound opens. Smoke thickens. Heat pushes everyone back. The Emperor's flagship is no longer sacred ground. It is a furnace. Men stumble past with burned hands and ruined faces. Ammunition continues to explode below. Finally, someone says the unthinkable. Abandoned ship. There are no speeches, only necessity. They rig ropes down the side because stairways are gone. My opponent grips the line and starts down. Another explosion hits. He falls. Bones break. Sailors drag him, lower him to a cruiser pulling alongside. He collapses on the deck, unable to stand, and as the ship pulls away, he forces himself to look back. Flames pour from the carrier. Smoke climbs miles into the sky. Tiny figures leap into the sea. The pride of the fleet is finished. And the worst part? He is alive to see it. I've seen that look before. The look of a man who survives the exact moment his world ends. By afternoon, the last carrier is burning. 4 gone, thousands dead. Aircraft, mechanics, experience that cannot be replaced. The balance of the Pacific shifts in a single day. For the Empire, the offensive era is over. For America, the long road back has begun. And the men who made it possible, many of them returned to anonymity. The codebreakers who uncovered the plan fought their own quiet battle for recognition. Politics buried their success for years. History can be cruel that way. As for my opponent, he healed. He wrote. He tried to make sense of the disaster. Tried to find logic in chaos. Tried to explain where he stood, what he saw, what he understood. Maybe he needed to. Maybe survival demands a story. But documents and logs later showed something different from memory. More time, more confusion, less certainty. That's human. In investigations, eyewitnesses aren't liars, they're survivors, and survival edits the truth. For the man who once watched bombs fall on Pearl Harbor, Midway carried a savage symmetry. This time, he was the one beneath the sky, helpless, watching the moment the tide turned forever. I'm Detective James. I've chased criminals, uncovered conspiracies, watched empires of power collapse in courtrooms and alleys alike. And if there's one lesson this day teaches, it's this. No force on Earth is invincible. Not fleets, not nations, not men. All it takes is one moment, one mistake, and something falling from a clear blue sky.